Hi, everybody, and welcome. I am Aleeza Ben Shalom with Marriage Minded Mentor, and this is Sarah Zoldan. Sarah, we're back. We're so happy to be with you. It is the end of December, and we are wrapping it up with our, we believe, 31st webinar since the beginning of the pandemic. We started doing these, and this is all the rage in the dating world. No, but seriously, we're having so much fun. We're learning all about dating, relationships, stuff, all this stuff that you deal with on a daily basis that is like, yuck, and fun, and ooh, and ah, and what if, and I don't know, and maybe. We're dealing with it all. So we're so happy that you're here with us. Thank you for joining us. And we're excited to welcome you to our, what are we calling it? Soulmate Spark webinar. And it's sponsored by the Seattle Shadchan. Do you guys know the Seattle Shadchan? Her name is Lori Young. She is wonderful. Everybody's got their own little niche and their thing. She specifically works with Shomer Shabbos singles of many different ages and stages and backgrounds and all those good things. And she has a network of over 700 matchmakers. In addition to being a matchmaker on Saw You at Sinai, probably the single largest Jewish database, just saying. And she is phenomenal. Lori and I, a couple months ago, said, hey, I love what you're doing. And she's like, I love what you're doing. And I was like, let's do stuff together. So we have started to take on matchmaking clients and coaching clients, but in combo, to make a matchmaking and coaching package all together. So if there's anybody that is like, what is that? I think we call it the Destination Chuppah package. We only, Lori, she's like, we only take on like 1 or 2 clients a month. That's it, because it's a specialty thing. It takes a lot of time and effort, and we work really closely with people. But anyway, if you want more information about the Destination Chuppah package, you can sign up with me at marriagemindedmentor.com. Sarah will put in the chat, and go to like click, 15-minute free session with Aleeza, or like the other Chuppah one, whatever you'll see, and just get in touch with us and we'll tell you what it is. And you're like, but what is that? Ooh, I'm curious. Why isn't there a full explanation on your website? Because it's like a hush hush package, and it's new, and we've been doing it, and it's been working. And so we're really excited to offer that to you. And thank you, Lori, for sponsoring this webinar this week. Soulmate Spark. So I was digging into research because I'm like, do you guys know how much I like research? I love like looking up stuff and figuring it out, and just coming up with all the nuances, the details, and like taking lots of information and condensing it and compacting it into the most important pieces of information that you need to know without all the fluff and the schmutz. Like, who has time for that? Me? No, not you. We're not wasting anybody's time. Hashgacha pratis, divine intervention. What happened today? Today, I prepped, I got all my notes. I'm like, I am ready for the webinar. Everything's down. And I get a phone call from a matchmaker and a coach friend who's working with me. Like we work, we work with everybody. Like we all collaborate to help singles find love. And she was talking about this spark. And I was like, so funny you're mentioning the spark today. Do you know that I'm doing a webinar in like 3 hours? She's like, no. And she's like, and then she's going on and on about the spark. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like scribbling notes. And I'm like, I have a lot of good notes, but I like the way that you phrased this, or you said that. Or so anyway, you're in luck, because besides my wisdom and everything that I researched, you got another expert who is providing her wisdom and her research. What?
Who is it?
Should I tell you?
I'm really curious.
She's a matchmaker on Saw You at Sinai. Should I give you her first name?
Yes.
Her name is Kim, and she's awesome. And she really loves and cares about the people that she works with. So we're talking about this soulmate spark, because like this is a thing. Like we have a webinar on it because it's a topic that everybody talks about. So here's my notes. You're gonna see me like look down at my handy dandy laptop computer. So here we go. How to know if it's there, and how to get it if it's not. So like, raise your hand. Aleeza, pick me. What do you mean, how to know if it's there? I mean, either it's there or it's not. No, it's not true. I know, Sarah, right? Like what? So number 1, if we're talking about a spark, what are we talking about? Emotional, physical, spiritual connection, okay? Or universal wisdom, life experience connection, whatever you relate to on the big picture, okay? So we're talking about a connection. Now, how to know if it's there? Some people think, but not exactly true always. Some people think like the spark means butterflies in your stomach. Like, ooh. If I'm feeling butterflies, that's the spark. That's butterflies. Is it a soulmate spark or is it just butterflies? Oh, wait, there's a difference? Yes, there's a difference. Okay, well, what if I've got butterflies and we have long conversations and it's so wonderful? That's good. Is that a spark? Or is that just nice long conversations with somebody you can carry a conversation with somebody you enjoy and you feel a little like butterflies? Or what if like excitement? Like Aleeza, I'm like, like I'm all excited. I can't sleep. And I just like, I have an amount of excitement. Excitement's good. Is that a spark? Or is that a soulmate spark? You introduce them around, people know them, maybe your friends met them, other people like them, they're connecting, like you're having a good everybody, it's something's there. Is it a spark or a soulmate spark? So the first piece of wisdom that I am sharing is there is a difference between spark and a soulmate spark. A spark can be there. A spark can be awesome. A spark can make you feel like $1 million. A spark can get you out of bed in the morning. A spark can keep you up at night. A spark will give you butterflies. A spark will give you that tingling feeling. A spark can do a lot of things. A soulmate spark, you marry. What's the difference? You ever seen fireworks? It's a spark. What happens? It fizzles out and it dies. It is beautiful for but a moment, which lasts however long that moment is, but it's a moment. And then what happens to that moment? Bye. I'm mourning the loss of the spark because it was so great. I don't understand why it's not working. It makes no sense, right? You could mourn the loss of that spark forever because I thought it was the thing. I thought it was a soulmate spark. And the other person's like, yeah, I mean, it was nice, but like not for me. And you're like, what? I thought we were having like a soulmate spark. And they're like, yeah, no. Okay. Not to confuse you, but there is a difference between a spark and a soulmate spark. A spark makes you feel good. A soulmate spark is with a human being that you would like and desire to spend the rest of your life with because you are partners, mates, like kindred spirits, whatever you want to call it. But like you want to be one. That's the difference. Okay. We're going to define it further. Okay. How do you kind of, so let's flip for a minute. How do you get this spark? Let's say it's not there. You're not having that spark and you're going out and you're like, good person, nice date, okay time, no butterflies, no excitement, nothing keeping me up at night, not waking up early, not having trouble going to sleep. Like, I'm fine. I don't care if we go out tomorrow or the next day. Doesn't even matter if I see you next week. But like, you're a good person. I'm a good person. We have a good time together. How do you make a spark happen? I mean, don't sparks just happen? Either they happen or they don't, Aleeza. You can't make a spark happen. Not true. Not true. We have to contribute towards making a spark. With a match, how do you make it light up and fire? You've got two sides. You got the match and you got the striking part that you got to strike. I don't have the fancy name for it. I forget. I didn't Google that. I'm so sorry. But anyway, like with just the match, is it sparking? Spark. It's not sparking. With just the other half, is it sparking? Spark. It's not sparking. It takes two to tango. You gotta strike it. Make it happen. You've got to strike to make the spark happen. So what does it mean for you to make an effort and to go and strike? I'll tell you. I got my notes here. So what it means is that you should have a little excitement in your voice. I don't care if you're feeling it. You're feeling like excited? Oh, good. So you'll act excited. Oh, you're not feeling excited? Good. You want a spark? You better put a little pep in your step. Have a little caffeine. Do something. Be a little bit enthusiastic about talking to somebody. Are you going to sneeze, Sarah?
It went away, but I did put myself on mute.
It was just the moment. It was the face.
Yep.
Okay. So you have to, and I'm not talking about faking it till you make it. I mean, some people you could be like an actress. Now you're on camera. Oh, I'm so excited to meet you. But don't have to fake. Sarah's not only sneezing, but she's yawning in the middle of this. It's fine, Sarah. We are all good. I still love you.
Okay, good.
So
I love you too.
But anyway, something happened hold on. My screen just popped up the whole thing. Okay, there it goes. Went away. Thank you. But you have to have some excitement, right? Because if I'm with you and you're really flat and boring and we have a good time and we're nice and we're good. Am I entertained? Am I having a nice time? Do I like really want to be around you? Would you come back and watch another webinar if I just talk to you like this the whole time? No. So what do? I'm animated. You hear my voice, you see my facial expressions, and you might not be an animated person. You're like, Aleeza, so not me. Okay, so just like tone you up a little, like, turn it up a little bit. Don't tone it down, turn it up. We need to get something out of you, because when I am with you and you look bored when you're with me, I think I'm boring you. And therefore, I don't feel good being around you. And if I don't feel good being around you, even if you feel good being around me, this isn't going to continue and there won't be a spark. Okay. Number 2, find positive thoughts to think about them and like exude that thinking or feeling, right? So like, oh, I'm thinking Sarah, like, so happy to see your smiling face. You know, you look great today. Like, there's a moment like if I'm thinking positive things about you, I'm going to smile more when I'm looking at you, right? But if I'm looking at you and I'm going, you're yawning in the middle, you're about to sneeze, like what's going on here? I'm getting irritated. I'm not going to be happy with you, right? Or I could just be happy with you and we could just enjoy our moment together and we could have fun and like, oh, you have a smile and I have a smile. And like, oh, we're having a good time together, right? Smiles breed smiles. They breed second dates. They breed entertainment. They breed enjoyment. They breed fun. And that breeds a spark. And what we're doing is nurturing and fostering a spark, right? So to get a spark with a match, what happens? You got to get 2 things and you got to bring them closer together. So this takes effort. This is all the things that you're doing to bring yourselves closer together. Then you have to take all your effort and, right? But it takes an amount of effort to, and guess what? If you do it too slowly, take a match. Try this at home. Just blow it out after. But it won't. If you go like this and you go really slow like this, guess what happens? Nothing. It doesn't light.
Ooh, I've like nails on a chalkboard feeling. Ooh.
Sorry. Okay, but that's what happens. Nothing. So what do you have to do to get a spark? Fast. You got to have some momentum. You have to have some energy to it. But how much energy do we need, Aleeza? I mean, like, I don't know how fast I can make all this happen. You need enough energy not to bore Sun so she doesn't yawn in your webinar. No, I'm just kidding. You need, she's just tired today. You need enough energy to get it going. So if you're not feeling it, there ain't enough energy there. If you start to feel a little something, there's a little more energy there. Now, you don't have to marry the person. I don't even care if you don't know if you do or don't like them, but you just want to like try to make something happen, because if you don't try, then nothing's going to happen. If you do try, then maybe something's going to happen, but you should try. And so what does trying consist of? So the excitement in the voice, thinking positive thoughts about them and kind of showing your feelings about those positive thoughts. You should be somebody who's comfortable in your own skin, right? Do you know those people? They look like you look comfortable in your own skin, like you're fine with who you are. You don't care, right? Doesn't matter if you're tall, short, fat, skinny, ugly, pretty, nothing. We don't care about any details about who you are. You just like you, right? If you could look in the mirror right now, go get your mirror. You got your phones. Don't get out of your beds and your comfy little couches and your little snuggly blankets, and get up and go look at yourself in front of the mirror. Do you like that punum? Do you like that face? Are you happy to be in your own skin and your own body? If you're not, do something to make yourself happy with yourself, because when you're happy with you, I'm more likely to be happy with you, right? Now, we don't want to turn the volume up too much and you to be like, I am awesome. Like, I am the best. Yeah, no arrogance. Get rid of the arrogance. Have a good time. Be who you need to be. But if you enjoy your own presence, it's much more likely that someone else will also enjoy your presence. Okay. So you got to learn not just to like yourself, but to love yourself, but to know all the little nuances. What do you like about yourself? You like the way you look, act, behave, talk, connect. What do you like? Find all the things you love about yourself and start to get comfortable. And then somebody else will feel comfortable with you, and then find all the things that you enjoy about them. And then that'll help to bring the connection, right? And the spark. Somebody just commented like, oh, this sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, it is. And if you have an amazing fireworks, something, and it's amazing, guess what? Probably gonna crash and burn. People that come to me and they're like, I met somebody who's so amazing. You know what happens? It's so great, right? I'm dealing with several couples right now. They went out and like the first couple of dates were great. And we're all like, oh, this is exciting. We're so excited. There's like something going on, I know. And I'm like, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. When's it going to happen? And guess what? It just happened. And now everybody's panicking and going, what happened? I thought it was so nice. I don't understand. And where'd it go? And they had a spark. And it seemed even like they had a soulmate spark, not just like a spark, but that was going to go somewhere. And now everybody's freaking out. Well, yes, it is a lot of work to get a spark, to maintain a spark, to, if you automatically get a spark, to like glue it together and keep it frozen in time so that that spark actually stays and it exists and it's there. It takes a lot of effort to do this. It doesn't just happen. So yes, this sounds like a lot of work, and it is. Sarah.
Yeah, I'm just going to pop in with one more question here. How much excitement do you have to feel initially to even want the spark? Like to even want to work on it? Yeah,
you might be feeling nothing. A lot of people are burnt out in dating. So it's more about that you know that you have somebody in front of you that you probably should, I should probably make an effort here. It's one of those feelings. So if you're feeling like, I guess I should make an effort, you make an effort because this could be your person, but also because if you make an effort here, even if this isn't your person, who cares? The next person you go to, you're going to be ready. Why? Well, because you are practiced and you've been behaving as if you're going to meet your person and you're going to have a spark. And if it's not this one, it's this one. If it's not this one, it's this one. If it's not this one, it's this one. And we don't care which one it is as long as it's the right one. And we want it to happen as quickly as possible. And you got to stay in sync. If you are not in a good place where you are constantly meeting people and you're constantly making this happen with the momentum, then you just go on dates and like, you're very vanilla. Now I like vanilla. If you would have asked me as a kid, what's your favorite flavor? I would have told you vanilla bean, my favorite flavor. Then as an adult, it was coffee. And now it's nothing, but it's fine. Vanilla is just vanilla though. It's plain, it's simple, it's boring. It's not unique. It's not different. It's not anything. It's just vanilla. And something that is vanilla is not unique enough to draw somebody in usually, unless you really like vanilla.
Can we just clarify that? Because that confused me a little bit, and I don't know if it's just me because I'm tired, or if I didn't understand you.
Yeah.
It sounded like you just said that you should be going on dates all the time to keep up that excitement. Because if you only go on dates on occasion, you're gonna not have that excitement.
No. You should. No, when you go on dates, you should work on your excitement with whomever your date is, as opposed to not working.
Okay.
Every time you should make your effort that you are on a date. No, you don't have to be a serial dater.
Okay, I was like, I don't think that's Aleeza's perspective.
Not my philosophy.
So are you saying that you should if you're going on a date with someone, then you should try for a spark?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, like pretend like everybody you're meeting is like potential spark soulmate. And if you're wrong, you're going to be wrong 99% of the time, but we don't care because the 1% it's right. You'll have done it right. You won't have messed it up. And it's better to go through life with potential, with hope, with desire. Okay. Comfortable in your own skin. And then the key to a spark. Drum roll, please. The key to a spark is connection, points of connection, compatibility, similarity, where you and I align and we come together. So what normally happens, and what do I hear about a lot through coaching? Well, we went out and I don't know, it's not going to work. And, because I'm not sure about this and I'm not sure about this and I don't know. And they said, and it could, right? What did they just tell me? Everything they're not sure about, they don't know, they don't understand, incompatible, whatever. What didn't they tell me? Not a single thing that they actually like about the person where they have compatibility. So before you get out and make your big long list of all the things you're not sure about that you don't like, let's make a big long list of all the things that you do like. And it might be a big short list, which is fine. Just write in big letters and it will be short. Okay. What do I like? I like their eyes. Great. One thing you like. What else do you like? I like part of their personality where they are friendly and warm and easygoing. Great. What else do you like? I like that they picked me up on time. Good. What else do you like? I like that they took me out. They had in mind something that I like to do, and they took me out to a place where I would want to go. They just they were thoughtful. It was so great. Good. Now, after we make the big list or the little list of what we like, then we can also talk about, well, I'm a little unsure if they're really, I don't know, long-term commitment minded. I'm a little unsure if philosophically we're aligned in certain areas. So here's where I need to gain clarity. So instead of telling what you don't like, you could just say, I am unsure about these things, and here's where I need to gain clarity, which is why we need to go on a second date and a third date and a fourth date, so I could figure these things out, because I know what I like, I know what I don't know, I know what I don't like, and what I want to know is there that spark? Is there that longevity of a relationship that we are going to have? So I want to wrap up, but I just want to make sure that I got through all of my wonderful notes, and I think I missed something. Hang on.
Hanging.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because I wrote this here and I think it didn't update. So let's see if it updated with all my new notes at the bottom. Oh, there they are. Okay, so just a little review. If you're not feeling a spark, or even if you are feeling a spark, but you want to up the feelings even more and to keep that spark going, be warm, enthusiastic, help to exude good feelings, whatever good feelings you're having about this person. Let them see that. Have a little charisma. Even if you are a vanilla person, be a little bit like vanilla plus or vanilla bean or vanilla with a cherry on top. Like, you could still be vanilla, but we've got to get you to like a little something more so it draws somebody in. Help somebody to enjoy themselves while being in your presence, because when they are enjoying and being happy, then they're going to enjoy you, because the person that they're with, it's like one of those things, we're in connection. If they are, after you go on your first date or your second date and they're messaging you, and don't start playing games. Yeah, I'd also love to go out again. See you Thursday, right? Like, don't play the waiting game. Definitely don't make somebody wait 24 hours. Like, be responsive, show interest, share excitement about what they're doing. If they've got stories that they're sharing, get a little nachas, a little enjoyment of what they're saying to you. Dig into it. Also, if you don't like most people that you're going out with, you're going to have a hard time liking anybody. So start looking for things that you like about human beings that aren't your soulmate, so that you can look at them and go, you're not my soulmate, but let me tell you what I like about you. Here's the 5 qualities that I like. About any human being in this world, you should have the skill and be able to name 5 things that you like about this person. Not because you want to marry them, not because you're having a spark with them, because they're one of God's creatures and they live in this earth, and you could name 5 things. If you can't do that, just start practicing with everybody. Like, look at the mailman and the grocery store clerk and, the lady across the street. I'm like, I don't care, but practice always finding things that you like about people so that you're prepped and ready to like something about your soulmate. Now, shouldn't it just happen, Aleeza? No, sorry, it doesn't. Should it? It's not the way God made the world. Sometimes it happens right away. Sometimes you build and it happens later. And sometimes it just slowly happens over the course of time. It's normal. For some people, they're going to get that spark and you're going to be like, see, but it happens. But it doesn't happen for everybody that way, right? Like movie, fairy tale, spark, marriage, soulmate. Yay! Right? How many people get that? That's like winning the soulmate lottery. Not everybody gets that, and that's okay. So you could get something else. Everybody needs a little enthusiasm or entertainment, engagement, something like, we add pepper, we add salt, we add a little seasoning to food. Why? To bring out the flavor. So we want to bring out the flavor inside of you. So you have to do that with people. You've got to just share something. I don't know what it is. Tell a joke or a riddle, an entertaining story, smile. If you have nothing to say and you're like, I have nothing to say, you know what? Speaks 1,000 words. Just looking at your smiling face makes me happy. I'd like to go out with you again, right?
No problem.
Thanks, Sarah. See you Tuesday. Okay. All right. That is the Soulmate Spark summary. I hope you enjoyed. And we're now open to questions. You have questions, we have answers. I don't know why I'm doing voices tonight. I don't think I've ever done voices in 30 webinars.
Nope. Just a quick reminder to everybody, put your question in the Q&A box, not the chat box. If you're on a desktop, the Q&A box is at the bottom of the screen. If you're on a phone, Aleeza, where's the Q&A box?
Q&A box. Let's just
keep
see.
looking.
It's at the top. Mine is. Oh well. I am horizontal and mine is at the top.
All right. And then here's a thought that I just wanted to share because it popped into my head right now while you were talking.
We love your thoughts.
And it's something I was thinking about over the last few webinars, because if anyone would ask me, where'd you go? If anyone would ask me, like while I was dating my husband, if it was different than any other guy I dated, like when I knew or whatever, like I would say, I mean, like, but right. So here's the thing. The first, I knew right off the bat that he was different than any guy I dated, and that there was something there that I did not have with a single other person. When Aleeza told me, was it two and a half weeks after I met him, when Aleeza was like, you're going to marry this guy. And I was like, you're crazy. And then in the same conversation, I was like, I think you're right. I knew that this was different. Like I knew he was different. We joke about this all the time because a year ago now, December, end of December, I was in Israel. And I'm busy telling all of my family in Israel that we're having a wedding. I was like, I don't know when it's going to be, but we're talking like Pesach time. I was like, if you're coming in for Pesach, I don't know. We have to talk about it because the wedding, I don't know when the wedding's going to be. And they're like, so when are you getting engaged? And I'm like, he doesn't know we're getting married yet. But at the end of the day, like it was still such a process. I was still going back and forth. I was still overthinking everything. I was still like logically and intellectually going through that whole roller coaster of is this the one or is this not the one? So like, yes, I can say I knew that it was going to be him, that he was different, but that doesn't like.
It didn't make it easier.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't make it easier at all. Like I remember telling Aleeza a number of times, everyone always said like, dating sucks until you meet the one that you want to marry. I was like, no, even when you meet the one you want to marry, it still sucks. Like, is it more fun spending time with him? Yeah. Do I enjoy our time together more? Yeah, but dating still sucks. So I feel like so many people, once they're married, forget that whole part of like the ups and downs and the roller coaster of like, is he the one? Is he not? And it's just like, oh, I knew. And they go hand in hand. So I just wanted to like throw that out there. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Let's start with the first question. We can work with this one. What about commonality when both are from very different backgrounds?
Sarah.
It works.
Right. It really, like, soulmate sparks happen with all different types of people. So if a spark can happen with somebody with different backgrounds, I have a couple right now that's dating that has very different backgrounds. And for some people, it just works. They're like, well, we have these differences. And I said, great. In your marriage, you're going to face these challenges because you grew up differently. Your expectations are different. Your family's expectations are different. And you're going to have to come together on these issues, even though you're not necessarily on the same page. And as long as we know this going into it, then I'm okay that you could figure it out as you go through it. But don't expect that like they're going to jump on your page or you're going to jump on their page. Nobody's jumping on anybody's page. And you're going to have to work really hard to get on the same page.
Awesome. Can you create this spark if you only do virtual dating?
Yeah, good question. So for sure, it could be done over the phone. So what I would tell you to do is to alternate between the phone and video dating. And I'll tell you why, right? So you and I are talking, you see me, you're like, oh, I feel connected. I see her, right? But like, poof, I pop off the screen. Here, wait, can I pop off somewhere?
Bye.
Ready?
Oh, look at that beautiful face. You also went mute.
You can see. Oh no!
I was like, why isn't he saying anything?
Okay, sorry. I meant that you couldn't see anything. But here we go. Wait, where's the camera? Oh, look at that. So you can't see anything, but you can hear me. And you could be laying in your room, in your chair. You could close your eyes. You could talk. And now we're just talking. We're having this moment together. And now we're just two voices. And we're not faces that are like straining and looking at a camera and a screen and being focused. And there's a certain part of me that when I'm a little visually hidden, I sometimes could be a little more emotionally open. Why does that happen? Ask your therapist. They'll tell you. But I will just tell you it's a thing. And when you're dating, I would alternate between the telephone and the intimacy and emotional connection that can come from that, and video, and stay away from texting. Although there are some couples, and for them, the texting is like a little spark. It's like they said this and I said that and I said this, and they have these little mini spark conversations, and it actually helps them and it feeds them. For some couples, it's a total fail, and for other couples, it's like, maybe I like you. And sometimes it could be a false positive, like, I like you so much over texting. And then we get on the phone and like, I'm not into you. Why is that? Right? I only like you in the written form, not in the verbal form. And that's a problem. That's another false spark, false alarm. So yes, it can be built, but it cannot be solidified and like, check, X marks the spot, here's my treasure, until we actually meet in person, which is why you should get in person ASAP if you can. And I know it's ridiculously complicated, so I'm sorry if you can't.
All right. Thank you. How do I focus on the guy in front of me when I'm getting other suggestions at the same time? On the one hand, it's nice to know I have other options if this doesn't work out, and the grass is always greener, and I can always jump ship to the next guy. This is like so up your alley.
Okay, what's my answer? Sorry, that was my answer.
Yeah, the answer is focus on what's in front of you. Focus on what is a definite, like what is and not what could be.
Right. And the other thing is this Mr. whomever, whatever over here that's in like your waiting room. Let's call it your waiting room, right?
Oh, I like that.
I was going to say, should you like a webinar? The waiting room. But let's talk about the waiting room, right? So your waiting room of people is a potential list of nobodies. Nobody's. Why? Because as soon as you become available and you're like, hey, knock, knock, I'm available. I'm like, oh, sorry, but I'm not. Oh, no, but your resume looks great. Your profile looks great. I want to meet you. And you're like, no, not available. So you're like, oh, but I left this one and I didn't want to continue because I thought there was something over here. So the grass is always greener. The greenest grass grows right in front of your face. That's my motto. It's a new one. It's the one thing.
Every guy or woman, every man or woman is going to have things that annoy you. And it's going to, with every person, you're going to always be like, but what if, you know?
What if I could get everything that I like about you, but without the annoying stuff?
Oh, this is the unicorn story.
Right. And somebody just posted, the grass is always greener where you water it.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the phrase. I needed the help with that one. So yeah, the grass is always greener where you water it, and where you're watering it should be right in front of you. Stop watering your waiting room. Like if you wanted to go out with them, you should have gone out with them. And if they weren't available, then that's because God didn't want you to go out with them. They wanted you to go out. God wanted the person in front of you, like this horse with the blinders. You look to the side, you see nothing. Waiting room doesn't exist. It only exists once this person's gone, and then you're like, what else is out there? So I've sometimes told people to just take the profile, the email, whatever comes in from whatever site, and either A, don't open your dating sites when you're doing this, or B, if something comes into your email or text, not available, save it for later. Not available, save it for later.
One of the funniest things is that people think it's easier to date when you know you have more options. It's just not true. Because if you're always thinking about the next person, or you're always thinking about like what could be, you're not even giving the person in front of you a chance. It's so much easier when you just like put on those blinders. Focus on what's in front of you. If it works, you'll get married and you'll be happy and you'll have love and whatever. And if it doesn't work, then you'll move on.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have comfort in the clarity one way or the other if you give it time. Okay, I'm a good student. What can I say? You are a good master.
Sarah's been with me for a while. She's been hearing my dating spiel. We met in 2016, did we? But we didn't start like really super connecting till after that. But I think it was 2016. Does that make sense?
2016 or was it 2017?
When were you in Georgia, in Atlanta for that conference? Was that 2016? I think so.
Dang. Okay. All right. Shouldn't you find out if you are compatible before seeing if there's a spark?
Okay, sometimes a spark happens because you walk in the room, you look around and you're like, hi, right? And there's a spark and you didn't even say anything. You're just looking at a human being and then you're like, but I don't know if we're compatible. So you can't always find out if you're compatible. I mean, you can by, a profile, by asking people before you get on a date. Hopefully you're going to go on a date with people that you already believe that you're compatible with, and that's why you end up there. So yes, in short, the answer is you should try to find that out. But sometimes you might end up in a situation where you might not have enough information. You might be at a friend's house and your friend has a friend over and you're all wearing masks and you're hanging out. And aren't these webinars going to be funny in like 2 years from now? And people are like, you remember when? Or the big joke's going to be on us and this is going to still be relevant.
Remember when we were at the beginning of 2020 and everyone was like, this is going to be over shortly? And now we're at the end of it? What? My mind is blown.
But anyway, you might just meet somebody casually, and so you might not be able to get information. So you can't, if a spark is going to be there, you can't stop it from coming. But remember, a spark is a spark, but what we're talking about looking for that you really want is a soulmate spark. And that's different than a spark.
Awesome. Okay, I like this one. Do not make a snappy comment. How can soulmate spark be a way of deciding who is or isn't the one if divorced couples also felt the same spark but ended up unsuitable or toxic for each other?
What's the beginning of the question? How can the
soulmate spark be a way of deciding who is or isn't the one?
Right. So the soulmate spark, it's not, you're shaking your head.
No, I don't think is it the deciding factor? No, it's just important that it be there.
To a degree. For some people, there's like a teeny weeny spark. It's like the smallest thing you've ever seen. And for other people, there's like a spark. So how is the deciding factor? It's not the deciding factor. And who was I talking to?
I don't know.
I was texting with a client or something, and it came up about dating, relationships, something. And I was like, it's a lot of work. Marriage is a lot of work. So just because you have a spark, it doesn't mean you're going to stay together. It means it's going to get you together. It's going to get you under the chuppah. It's going to get you to the place where you have the potential to stay together for a lifetime. And then what you got to do is roll up your sleeves and dig into your stuff and work through it day after day, week after week, year after year. Even when some days you're not feeling so soulmate sparky, even though I know you were my soulmate, but I don't think I want you to be my soulmate anymore because I'm kind of done with you. I've had enough. There's no more spark. So, and it can also be that you have a spark with somebody who maybe does have unhealthy habits or things, and the spark is there, but the potential for a long-term relationship is not because somebody's in an unhealthy position. It does happen. How do you avoid that? You got to watch out for yourself. You have to, if you're ever unsure, date longer. Date longer. Get to know each other. Don't rush into it. Now, I'm not saying longer, like if you can't figure this out within 6 months to a year, we got to figure it out. Longer just means don't date for 3 months and rush to get engaged when you could date for 5 or 6 months and ensure that this is going to be a healthy relationship and that you have the skills to deal with it.
So this is a question that just popped in, and it's a follow-up one to this. Would you say that red flags were usually ignored in the relationships that ended in divorce?
Sometimes red flags are ignored. Sometimes things people don't know. Sometimes things don't come up until later. So I didn't know that was going to be a thing, but it is a thing. I don't know that it's ignored. I just think that sometimes life is complicated. And sometimes we think we can handle something and then we get into it and then we really can't, or we knew about it and we thought it was a problem this big and it was really a whopper of a problem and it was this big and you're panicking because you can't handle it. So again, roll up your sleeves, get the support that you need, find a good therapist, find a good friend, find a good mentor, find a good role model, read a dozen books and watch a ton of TED Talks and webinars and try to dig yourself out of the hole. Once you're in it and you're married, it's just different. We make an effort in a different way. We don't just, run away from it. We really try hard before we would end the beautiful spark.
Thank you. All right. So if the spark isn't there, does that mean that this isn't the right person for me?
No, it means that it could still be the right person for you. So I have a handful of clients. They date, they don't have a spark, they don't have a soulmate spark, they don't have a medium spark. Like they really don't spark with people in general. They're just not so sparky. And they keep getting into these relationships and they're not exactly feeling it. And they just keep going round and round and round, and they're trying to figure this out. So wait, repeat the question so I don't not answer it, because I sometimes do that.
If the spark isn't there, does it mean that this isn't the right person for me?
So there are people that we sometimes have to get down the aisle without a sparky spark because they're just not sparky people. And those are really, really difficult relationships to get down the aisle. But the clients that I've worked with that have had that, the values were there. All the other things were there. The companionship that was there, a friendship, there was a good relationship. There was like so many things that were there. It just wasn't like a spark, but they weren't super sparky people. And then you have to kind of like get them down the aisle gently, lovingly.
And do those relationships last?
The ones that I have been working with have been lasting. But again, so I only know from the ones that I've coached, I prep them. You're not going to feel a spark. You're not going to feel a spark when you get married. Even when things happen, you're not going to feel a spark. You're probably not going to ever feel a spark because you're not feeling a spark. And not now, you're not feeling a spark, not ever. Okay? Funny voices today. I don't know. But you're...
This is being recorded, right? Yes.
No caffeine pill, no coffee. I can't do coffee. It makes me crazy. This happens without coffee. Who needs coffee? This is why Aleeza doesn't drink coffee. So if you just have to know, you're not going to feel what everybody feels, and you're not going to get what everybody gets, because not everybody gets it, number one. And you're definitely not going to get it because it's just not your thing. And if you've been searching for 30 years and you haven't found it yet, and not to any degree, or not to a degree at all, really, with anybody, you're probably not going to find it like that. Look for more of a relationship of friendship, of companionship, of love, of understanding, of connection, but not like sparky spark.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. What if you feel a soulmate spark and it's mutual, but there are more red flags than a parade in China?
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
I'm so sorry because you're awesome. I really am so hard. I can't believe it. You have to like, don't walk away. Run. Turn around and run. Run as fast as you can, because the spark feeling drags some people into red flag relationships, and that is a problem. And so, yes, you should not walk away. You should run. You should never look back. Block their phone number, block their email. There should never, ever, 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 ever be any more conversation unless there's a really bizarre, unique reason why you would have to talk to them. You should never see them again. It's really, really difficult. But if you don't get out, you'll get sucked back in, and they might not have the willpower to get out. And if you don't, you can probably end up divorced anyway. So like, I'm just saving you from divorce. Run as fast as you can now. Run.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like there's a line from a movie. Run.
Forrest.
Forrest. There you go. Run, Forrest, run. Thank you. I'm not a movie person.
I never even saw that one. All right. Okay. To the person who sent in
Wait, sorry. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Don't just run and hide. Get out of the way. Okay, good. Go.
To the person who asked a beautiful question and asked me not to read it out loud, the way we structure these questions is live Q&A. So questions come in, I read them, Aleeza answers them. She doesn't even see them. So if it's something you don't want me to read out loud, I would suggest scheduling a call with one of the coaches. All right.
Please do. MarriageMindedMentor.com.
What about guys who pretend there's a spark until they find out that you're not negotiable on relocation or something like that, and then they lose interest altogether? Was there actually a spark on their side if it declines as soon as things don't go their way?
No, that's not a pretend. There was a spark, but they got non-negotiables, and they're like, not interested. You don't want to move. I don't want to move. We can't make anything happen. Nice spark. Bye. And then they go. because they know that they're not going to get into it. And then even if I like you more tomorrow and tomorrow's tomorrow, I'm still not going to like the fact that you live in Philadelphia and I live in LA, and I ain't moving to LA and you ain't moving to Philadelphia. So they're doing it to protect what they want. And by the way, they're respecting what you want too. The other way that they could do it is they could just say, look, I'm not negotiable on this. Are you? Right? And then what's the problem? You might be so into your spark that you say, yes, I'm flexible. I'll do it for you. And then you move there and then you regret it. And then you resent them for the rest of your lives and get divorced and end up moving back to where you were from anyway. So if you're both really not negotiable,
Aleeza is
just
not dramatic, you guys. Not dramatic.
I don't know what's with me tonight, but is it like a full moon? Is it like there's something weird in the air?
It was 2 nights ago.
Did somebody, oh yeah, oh, there you go. Well, isn't this entertaining? Remind me the next time it's a full moon. I can't wait to see what happens.
All right. Okay. Why is it a false spark if you like calling but dislike texting, or vice versa? A woman once told me she was feeling a spark after a long car ride with me, despite knowing me for years through small talk at singles events, and hadn't wanted to date. I feel like there's 2 separate questions in there.
Good. So the first one is,
why is it a false spark if you like calling but dislike texting, or vice versa?
Okay, wait. Well, vice versa is a problem. If you like calling and talking to somebody, but you don't like texting with them, they just might be irritating texters. A lot of people really are lousy at texting. So, yeah. and it irritates. It's like, if you're like a texter or a writer, or you're into it, and other people are like, hey, what's up? How are you? How you doing? How's your day? What's going on? Well, you know what I did? And so, right? But you might enjoy talking to them. So if you enjoy talking to them, but not texting with them, don't dump them. But if you enjoy texting with them and not talking to them, run. Dump them. You have to enjoy the human being. If they're not so great on text, stop texting. You'll enjoy them more. And guess what? Texting wasn't around years ago, and people did just fine in relationships. So texting can just be a form of technical information. See you at 7. That's it. Nothing else. No schmoozing. No, how was your day? Hey, sweetheart. No, what's up? No, what's going on? Just, that's it. So one way, yes. The other way, no. Second question is,
a woman once told me she was feeling a spark after a long car ride with me.
No, we did that. The second half. Second half of that question.
That is the second half. The first half was texting versus calling.
Oh, a woman car ride versus what?
Despite knowing me for years through small talk at singles events.
Yeah, so actually having a long car ride, it's like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, no spark. Why? Well, because I don't know you. Maybe your face didn't draw me so much. I wasn't like enamored by you. But now that we're in the car talking, like, I really like you. And now I look at your face and I'm like, oh, you look familiar. And I kind of like you now. Like, oh, there's something there. So the real deal, what's the real spark in the car in that moment? What's a false negative?
It's not a false
negative.
Spark. Yeah, it's a false negative. Yeah.
A false negative is when you go to the event and you're like, whatever, nothing, not into it. But it's a real positive when you're in the car and you actually connect. So just get in the car and drive somewhere and hang out with people.
Yeah, I also think, like, just keep in mind, some people don't do well in social settings.
Yeah, groups. Yeah, events. Good news! It's times where we don't go to events in person anymore. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, next.
All right. Did we talked about how long it should take to develop a spark, right?
No, I don't think we did. So
okay, so how long does it usually take? How long should it take?
Yeah, there is no usual. Okay. Here's what happens with sparks. You meet somebody, spark, and it's there. Or you meet somebody, no spark, and you're like, should I stick around for this? Right? Or the middle of the road, you meet somebody and you're like, medium spark. I don't know, nothing, not there. I mean, it's not there, but it's like medium. Okay. So if it happens and it's there, so stick around and confirm that it's not a false positive, because those explode in your face and they're not my favorite kind, but they can work. Middle of the road, like medium, build, do all the things that we talked about in the beginning of the webinar to build a spark. If it builds, yay, if you're getting married. And if it doesn't build, it's okay, because bye, we're going to move on to the next one. But you put in all of your effort. And if it's not there at the beginning, it could be a false negative. It might not be nothing. There might be something. So when in doubt, go out, date them till you hate them. Follow that rule of thumb. If you can't stand them, don't go out anymore. If there's not a spark, give it 2 tries, 3, maybe even 4, and see if you can build. And if you can't build, either A, they're not for you, or B, you're not good at building a spark yet. You should try harder. It could be either one of those things. So yeah, that's the answer.
All right. How can you tell if a spark will lead to flames?
Flames in this context sound like it's good, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah, we got to be careful with fire. It's sometimes good. How can you tell if a spark leads to flame? Just keep dating them. You just keep going out, keep fueling the fire, kindling it, putting in more wood, making sure it has enough oxygen. That means compliments, enjoyment, time together, getting to know each other, understanding each other, telling each other stories, opening up, vulnerability, smiling, enjoying each other's company, all of that yummy deliciousness. And then you'll know if it's going to turn into fire. And just keep going. Keep trucking.
Awesome. Awesome. Give me 1 second.
That's fine. I'm drinking water. You're doing that.
How can I differentiate between infatuation and a soulmate spark?
The question of the hour. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that is the $1 million question. So the basic way to know the difference is to keep dating them. A soulmate spark, so this is going to be hard to explain actually, because I would say it doesn't fizzle out, but it does neutralize and it does chill. But a soulmate spark should be something that sparks and it keeps going, and then it builds into a deeper, yummy loviness, a warmth, a connection, a something. You might not be always feeling sparky about somebody, but like there's some foundation of caring, connection, like loving, I like them, I love them, whatever, in that category. Just a spark is like, like, oh, I like you and you're so cute and always such a similar backgrounds, and I mean, I don't know, I just have a nice time with you, but like not that deeper level wwhere we get to know each other, where we're open, we're vulnerable. I could tell you things that I don't necessarily tell everybody. I could tell you the things that are on my mind that I don't always share, and I just start to open up a little more. So time, usually the answer is time will tell you the difference between a soulmate spark and just a spark.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Here's a good one.
Sarah always says that.
How can I find a spark in another person when it feels like I lost my own spark?
It is a good one.
I know.
Stop dating and date yourself.
Boom.
Right? That's it. That's really it. What does date yourself mean? Take yourself out, treat yourself, make yourself smile, take a bath, give yourself time to do your favorite thing, read a book, pick up a new hobby, anything, something, learn something new, hang out with your friends with your masks on, just re-spark yourself. But like, what did you love to do as a kid or a young adult? Or what did you used to really enjoy that you haven't been doing? Or if you had all the time in the world, what would you be doing right now that would put the biggest smile on your face? Do those things. I mean, the reasonable ones, don't make it outrageous. And if you can't do it because of whatever reason, then, Aleeza, my favorite thing in the world to do is ski, and I live in Florida and I can't travel because of the planes and Corona. Great. Then turn on the Discovery Channel and start watching all sorts of things about skiing and snow and things that make you happy. And if you can't do it, then experience it visually so that it still puts a smile on your face. And you're like, but it's not the same. It's not the same. You're right. But you could sit in your misery and you could wallow, or we could put a smile on your face and spark you, because we got to spark you and make you happy. So do things that make you happy. And if you don't know how to make you happy, nobody else will. I know how to make me happy. Oh, now I could tell you how to make me happy. I could make myself happy. I don't have to count on you for that, but I could at least identify what it is, and I could get back to my state of balance and equilibrium.
Nice.
Take care of you. Date yourself. Go ahead.
I like that.
spend like $175 on something ridiculous that makes you happy. I just picked a random number. Was it high enough? If it wasn't high enough, up it.
All right. What about when you feel a raging fire coming from the other person and you feel like you just need to escape?
This is such a good question,
I know.
right?
I
right?
said
they're
it.
like hot for you, and you're like, oh gosh, I just can't. No. Right.
But
So
it's not even like you don't like them. It's just too much.
And it's so much that they're so much, like the more that they get into you, like if we're both into each other, we're into each other, right? The more that I like you, the less that I want to like you sometimes. And then I climb down, and then you go more, and then you try to go higher to bring me back. And like, I'm like, I'm out. So what we really need to do is if it's going to ruin the relationship anyway, just say it. Take a Sarah approach. Be direct and just say, listen, I like you. Not as much as you like me, but I like you, and I'd like to like you more. But the intensity of how much you're showing that you like me is a little bit of a turnoff, and it's too much for me. But I want to like you more, and I want to go out with you, but I need you to tone it down. And by tone it down, I mean, and now tell them what you mean. I mean, not complimenting me 25 times on our date. By tone it down, I mean not texting me 75 times when I only text you back twice. By tone it down, I mean not asking me out every night of the week so that I have nothing else to do and making me feel bad if I don't go out with you, right? Define what you mean by tone it down.
Can I just keep nodding on that one?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I like that. Okay. How can
this is such a fun webinar. We're having a great time. I hope you're all having as much fun as we are. Our webinar, if this is your first time, this is not normal. So go watch a different one. It's a different experience.
But they're all fun. They're all.
You know what? Wait a minute. I know why it's so much fun, because this is the Soulmate Spark. So we're like sparking it up, and we're having so much fun. We always have fun. The Spark one, the chemistry one, the magnetic one, right? All of these, look for any of those webinars. Those are all the fun ones. What? I
have such a good dating analogy. Such a good dating analogy right now, because I'm sitting here and I came into this so tired, and I'm just like, some days I'm feeling it and we're grooving and it's like back and forth. And tonight I'm just like, I can put it on because we have a relationship for long enough and I know how we work well together, but I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is not fun, but she's clearly having fun. So here's the thing, once in a while, it's fine. As long as 80% of the time it's fun. Like, I'm literally sitting here like, is she really getting that energy from me? Because I am not feeling it, but I must be a great actress. I'm not even kidding. But
this is one of those dates. This is one of those dates where somebody is having so much fun and into it, and they're like all in on the date, and the other person is like, she said,
but here's the thing. We've been dating long enough, and we have like, I mean this seriously. Like, not every date do both people have to be equally excited about
energized,
it. I'm not going to walk away from this and be like, that's it, I'm never doing a webinar with Aleeza again. It's over. Like, that would be ridiculous to throw away such a good like relationship just because one webinar I came in I came in a little tired.
Wait, we have to say also, we have to just tell the truth here. We normally do webinars on Thursday nights. Yeah. And I had this inkling, I didn't have it soon enough, but I had this inkling like, oh, it's Wednesday night.
Aleeza never texts me before webinar.
I never text her before a webinar. 1 minute before the webinar, I'm like, hey, see you in a minute. And I just had that inkling that I should just text her just in case she shouldn't come on the webinar, and she texts back, OMG, I thought it was tomorrow night. I'll be a few minutes late.
Whenever you put your hands up, it like takes you, we don't hear you. Your thing picks it up. Anyway, no, literally, like we were in the middle of dinner, chilling. I was in pajamas because I didn't even get dressed today because I work from home and I love it. And I didn't have any clients. So I was like, hair uncovered in PJs, and I look at my husband and I'm like, I have a webinar in a minute. He's like, is it just you and Aleeza? I was like, no, it's like 100 other people. Anyway, I'm getting my energy, but I wasn't there when I walked in.
No, so but here's a great way to show that she came into our date, our webinar, and she wasn't exactly prepped for this because something else was going on in her life and she just was in a different headspace. And so she's not at the same energy level and she's not into it the same way that I'm into it because she came out of a different circumstance. Somebody might come out of a work meeting, a bad day, a disappointing thing, a frustrating thing, tired, a sleepless night, right? And so they don't have the energy to be there on that date and to be like matching your energy. So when that happens, one person's feeling it and you're like, hey, we're having a great time. And the other person's like, yeah, I'm good. We're good. Yeah, we're having fun, but they're not all into it. But just because that happens on one date, don't worry. You'll still have a webinar next week. No, but you'll still have a date too and give somebody a chance.
Yeah. And as the person coming into it, make the effort. Like if it was just me and Aleeza, I would have told her right off the bat, wow, I just, put on some clothes. And I would have told her I'm a little tired. I apologize if I yawn, but like, I don't always say that when there's so many people in the room. But I'm still putting in the effort. I'm still showing up. I'm still putting in the effort. I didn't say like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I totally forgot. Can't show up tonight. Like last minute.
We would have really had a problem if you did that. I mean, apparently I had a good time on my own, but I would have had a problem if you did that.
Aleeza,
2 webinars alone. No.
I would never.
Like when you got married, I did a webinar, but I like brought people on,
Yeah. You need me. I get it. Cool. Okay. We have like 5 more minutes. So let's like power through a few more questions.
Okay.
How can a woman feel a soulmate spark with a man who is not emotionally expressive with his feelings?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I have women, they have married men who do not emotionally express themselves, and it takes some getting used to. What they know is usually through loyalty, commitment, dedication, companionship, friendship, thoughtfulness, caring, depth of companionship, interest, and connection, that they really care for them. It doesn't feel very sparky though. But if you could, in your brain, translate all of these things to being like, this is a spark. This is a real spark, right? Like a feeling of a spark is in my brain or in my heart or in my body because I think that something's there. But when I think that something's there with a human being who deeply loves and cares for me, that should trigger sparks and tingles and like, wow, I have such a person. But you might look at them and they might not be like the most good looking person that you've ever seen in the world because you've been looking at too many people. But had you woken up one morning and only seen them and never seen anybody else in the whole wide world, you might have liked them more. But we have experience and we have internet and we have movie stars. And so everybody looks better than the person that we're with. And so we have to get used to that. And also they don't have a sparky personality. So it's hard to feel a spark, but what you're going to feel is the root of a spark, which is better than the spark itself, because the root of the spark, a spark, if it doesn't have roots and it doesn't have foundation, then it doesn't work. It has to grow roots to make it work. And what you actually have is the root of the spark, and the sparky part you just don't see or feel so much, but you have the depth of what it is.
Awesome. Next up, a rabbi once advised a seminar class, you just know when you've met your soulmate. Should this level of foolishness rule out a rabbi, a coach, or a guru as a source of personal guidance?
Right. So the you just know, I don't actually buy into, because I work with people who don't just know that they met their soulmate and they did and they got married. Would I rule them out? I would rule out that piece of advice, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like maybe they just don't have that piece of advice right, or maybe their experience and everybody that they know has only ever had that experience. There's a difference between somebody who has experienced, dozens of people in a dating relationship experience and people who have experienced hundreds or thousands of people in a dating or relationship experience. And so the more information you have and the more people that you've worked with, the more that you understand things. They might just not have the depth of experience, but then you're going to say, but hey, Aleeza, why are they speaking on this? And I'm going to say, good question, because they think they know enough to speak on it. But if you know well enough to know that that's not accurate, so don't follow that advice. But they might have very, very good other advice. But you can keep your radar up, you could keep your guard up a little to make sure that you're not taking, maybe they have that and that's bad advice, and they have other advice that might be bad advice. So you should be on guard a little, but not so much that you can't hear the truth and the wisdom that they have to share. Because everybody's got stuff that's like not great, and everybody's got the stuff that's great. And me too. I've got good advice sometimes, and I've got things that people are like, oh, I didn't want to hear that. So great. Like, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and don't click off this webinar. Keep watching. Just.
All right.
See, Sarah's having fun now. Just kidding.
Doesn't it take years? No, I am. Doesn't it take years for infatuation to develop into love? Wouldn't it be immodest to date anywhere near that long with the woman risking her reputation?
Infatuation doesn't develop into love. Infatuation is infatuation. Love is love. Infatuation.
Remind me why we don't have a TV show yet?
It's coming. Okay. Infatuation is false love and will never develop into love. Love is, dude, love is another webinar. The short answer is, yes, a woman should not risk her reputation. He will never love you if he's only infatuated with you. He will only be infatuated with you. And if you think, by the way, just for anybody who's not holding by Shomer Nagia, which means that you're guarding your touch and not interacting with physical touch at all. If you are interacting with physical touch and you think like, oh, if I'm not with him or her, then they're going to leave me. That's called infatuation, or that's just called people have physical needs and desires. And because you satisfy them, guess what happens? They usually lose respect for you. And then they're like, oh yeah, well, glad I got what I needed, but I would never marry anybody like that. And how do I know that? Because dozens and dozens of men and women have told me that. As soon as that happened, they were like, yep, totally lost respect, done, would never marry somebody like that. And I was like, are you kidding me? But you like push the issue. And they're like, yeah, sorry, I have needs.
So I'm just gonna say, I think I know what this person is referring to. Well, I don't think I know.
Interpret. Just come on.
No, because I remember we had this conversation like at the beginning of our webinars back in the day. And one of the there is a
wait, sorry, you gotta pause. She's doing voices now. You see, all webinar I've been doing voices, and it took an hour and 20 minutes for Sarah to start doing voices. So what happened? Entertainment, enjoyment, pleasure breeds pleasure, and the other person just naturally does it. She didn't even know that was going to happen, but just because I was doing it, she was doing it. We like became similar, and like became like, and we had fun. And if you do that with people, not voices, but if you just have fun. And you enjoy yourself on this, you could try voices, but if you just enjoy yourself on the date, the other person will like wake up, literally or not literally, figuratively, and they will also start to have fun on the date. What?
I mean, like I usually think of mirroring in like actual positioning, but couldn't this be that also? Okay, anyway, back to the question.
Thanks for proving it really good.
So there is someone, I forget who it is and what their background is, but there is like a whole book on that love for like even the first love that gets you through dating and the first few years of marriage is just infatuation. Like that's their philosophy, and then it develops into love. And I think that what they're talking about is what you talk about. Oh my God, we do need a webinar on love, the different stages of love.
Love and infatuation.
What they're talking about infatuation to love is what you talk about in terms of different stages of love. So the stage of love you feel while you're dating versus once you're married versus 10 years down the road are totally different. And you can't compare one to the other, but that doesn't make it less real. It's just a different stage real. So I think that might be where that question was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like 2 more. Is it worth it to feel a spark? When you find them unattractive and even ugly, but have all the same interests and passions and have fun on dates, kind of like friend vibes.
Okay, for this person, find one facial feature that you like. Do you like their eyes? Do you like their eyebrows? Do you like their cheeks? Do you like their teeth? Do you like their lips? Do you like their chin? I don't care what you like. Do you like their neck? Pick any physical feature, one physical facial feature. Maybe you also like their hands or something. They're not all ugly to you. There's got to be something that you look at them and you like about them. Do you like the color of their eyeball? Like anything, the shape of their ear? I don't care what it is. It can't be something like their haircut, because that might change. And as soon as that changes, you're going to have a problem. But I mean, physical features are going to change too, but a little slower over time. But pick something that you like. Hyper focus on that and see if you can grow the physical attraction when so many other things line up. It is so amazing. And the goal is to start to just feel a little something more for somebody. If you can just never imagine being physical or close to them, intimate with them in any way, shape, or form, not now, but after you've really, really worked hard to find something that you like about them, and it's still just not working for you at all, you've exhausted everything, then you could give up on it. But try really, really, really hard, like a million times really hard.
All right. Okay, I have one more question for you and then one question for me. Question for you. There are different situations for more mature singles above 55 years. There are fewer men for that age group, and also many of the men may start off seeming to be very interested and get involved, but then abruptly back off with no explanation. This is hard to manage. What would you suggest?
Okay, so yes, I would agree that as we age up, we start to see fewer suggestions. The thing that is different though, is that abruptness, or that things might suddenly end. It also happens at younger ages and stages. It's kind of a thing that just some people flake out and they disappear, and some people they don't. So what we're looking for are the character traits of somebody who is well-grounded and emotionally available and able to just navigate conversations. If you're meeting people online, things end more quickly or in awkward ways. If you have friend connections, it's better that you can have friends or other people involved. That really helps when you have people that know people and they make an effort to help them to get connected to you a little more. I'd recommend that you try dating and having other people around, if it's not around, but like involved in the relationship. And if you're just doing it online and you're trying to make it happen, 90 to 95% of the time, it's not going to work. I would tell you 90% of the time for everybody else in the world, it's not going to work. But let's say 90 to 95% of the time, it's not going to work for you. And we're looking for that 5 or 10% of the time that it works, that there's somebody better there. So I think we all have to have reasonable expectations, is that 90% of the time, out of 100 people, 90 are going to be really wrong for you, like wrong for you. So start counting your 100 people, and I only expect you to find 10 people that are like decent for you. Like 8 of them are going to be like, maybe, and 2 are going to be like, ooh, interesting. So if you haven't met an interesting person yet, keep looking. And yes, the numbers are the way that they are, and somehow Hashem has the math perfectly figured out that you should be able to find your person, that they do exist, they are living, they are breathing, they're in this world, and that we have to have the energy and the stamina to keep searching for them.
Thank you. All right, so this last question is off topic, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and you'll see why.
But you said it's for you.
I know.
I love you.
Dating shomer negia, so meaning not touching while dating, and being about Chuppah, how do you handle curiosity about body image of your partner, especially if sexuality is a past trigger? So, gonna be honest, don't 100% understand the question in terms of like, how do you handle I don't know what curiosity means. I don't know if you're talking about your curiosity about their body image or their curiosity about your body image. And there's a comment here about size. So I think bottom line, in a nutshell, bottom line is assuming it's at the point in the relationship where it makes sense, talk about it. It's okay to talk about, without there's so much background that I'm missing, so it's hard to give specific advice, but talk about the situation. You can address an insecurity if there is one. Don't point to specific things that bother you or bother them. I don't know which way it's going, but don't get into specifics because you don't want to draw attention to something that they didn't even notice.
Give us an example of what you're talking about, because I think we're talking about it, but give me an example. A couple is dating and
a couple, now I wish I had more information, but let's say a couple is dating and I'm the person in this scenario who's uncomfortable with body image, or I'm comfortable with myself but not sure how it's going to like play out in dating. So I can have a conversation about struggling with my body image. I can have a conversation about what I need from the other person. Like, obviously, if we're dating, at a certain point, I know they find me attractive, but I can still say, I need to hear from you that you find me attractive. This is what I need to hear from you. Don't expect them to know. But I also wouldn't say like, I really hate my arms. My arms are like so big and they're like bat wingy, and I can't, like, I just hate them every time I look at them. Like, they probably didn't even notice your arms. Don't draw attention to something negative or something that you see as a flaw, because they probably didn't even see it that way. If it's the other way and they're the one struggling with it, ask them if they're comfortable having a conversation about it, and have them just share whatever they want to share with you, and ask them how you can support them. If like there's room for a therapist or something like that, encourage that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Aleeza, how can people work with your coaches?
Oh, okay. So glad you asked. Okay. So thank you again so much to the Seattle Shadchan, who is our sponsor for this evening. And we work in collaboration together. Lori Young, is a matchmaker. We work as dating coaches, and we have teamed up to bring matchmaking and dating coaching together for like a specific group of people. And she specifically works with Shomer Shabbos singles. And we just love the work that we do. So if you're curious about that, you can message us marriagemindedmentor.com. Not message us, but like sign up for a session with me and be like, hey, I want to know more. But in general, if you're like, wow, this is awesome, I like this advice, and not every dating coaching session is going to be so entertaining because we're not usually this funny, but goofy or silly or weird. But anyway, we have a whole amazing team of coaches. Besides myself, we have Leah, who lives in Israel, and she does a Jewish-based personality analysis that tells you all about you. And it also tells you about the type of person that you should be dating to bring the compatibility together and really get something off the ground. So if you're curious about that, you should sign up with Leah. And she's just coming off of maternity leave. So if you don't see her thing up online with the hours, just email her at Leah, Leah, at marriagemindedmentor.com. You also could work with, if you're a woman in their 20s and 30s, Reagan is phenomenal and would absolutely love to work with you. If you're looking for a male coach, Michael is available. He works with men and women of all ages and all stages and all backgrounds. And also Shira is similar to Michael and works with all ages, all stages, all backgrounds. She also can help you with things like rewriting your profile for online and navigating a dating and relationship situation, like whatever you need. She could help you with that. And we also have a phenomenal coach, and her name is Alana Brown. You may have seen Alana and moi featured in the OU Jewish Action magazine. There was an amazing article that came out. Do we have the link? We could send that out maybe in the next email. If you remember, write it down because there is no Carly.
I was about to say Carly.
Our beloved Carly, who used to be with us on our webinars, had to move on to bigger and better things, but we're going to get another intern soon. So anyway, Alana is wonderful to work with. She is a coach. She has been a matchmaker, a coach, and a therapist. What?
I forgot what I'm writing down.
You're on mute, but you'll rewind later.
No,
anyway,
I'm not.
I don't remember either.
Oh.
Somebody in the chat will tell you. Okay, so anyway, you're funny. Oh, the OU Action, thank you. We get too into what we're into. We're so present with you in the moment, we don't even remember the past. Anyway, that's why we always say write it down. But Alana's available to do coaching. She's phenomenal. Our coaches really work one-on-one. They work with you through the dating relationship process as you need it. Usually they just do one-on-one sessions. If you're somebody who's like, no, I want to do a group of sessions, we could make a package for you of a month of sessions. And depending on who you are and what you want, we have tons of online programs and all other goodies that we can squeeze in there. Sarah's face is saying something. Speak up, Sarah.
Do you want to tell them about what's coming up? What we're going to start promoting next week?
Okay, in 1 minute. So also, I work with singles. My schedule has gotten a little insane, and we're making Aliyah in 8 weeks. We're moving to Israel, but don't worry, I will still be with you, but just on Israel time. And you'll see a different background that's probably not going to be yellow. It'll probably be white. But anyway, I work with singles, not just I don't do one-on-one sessions. I actually do 3-month packages and work with people that really want to dig in and have lots of stuff for us to cover. And if you're curious about what all those things are, sign up for a session with me. And if you're like, Aleeza, you just mentioned all these coaches and I don't know who to pick and I don't know what to do, just sign up with me and I will match you to the right coach, because I'm a good matchmaker like that. And I'll set you up and we'll make sure it works with your budget and with your personality and with your needs and everything. And Sarah and I are so excited to tell you that we are running a program next month, and it is called Mastering Your Dating Mindset. That is right. We are going to master your mindset, get it into gear. Goofy, we're so goofy. I'm so sorry. Anyway, stuff happens during the year, and especially during the year of 2020, stuff happened, okay? And everybody got out of sync and out of whack with dating. I mean, only because there was a pandemic. I mean, it was no big deal. It's just a global pandemic that affected everybody. But other than that, yeah. So because of all of that, we are actually going to do Master Your Dating Mindset. So we get back into the mindset of knowing your spouse exists, finding them, visualizing them, prepping your brain. We have to re-input what's in there, because we have to do a total just get out the old, stuff in the new, and find your person. And I know how to do that. So it's a 6-week program. It's going to be online. It's actually fabulous. And I know because we put it together, and it's beautiful because Sarah, made it happen. So if you're interested in that, don't worry, we'll email you. Just stay tuned. There's nothing you actually have to do now. I mean, unless you're not on.
Just get excited.
Yeah, get excited. Like a first date. But if you're not on our email list, just, sign up for something and you will.
Aleeza, if they're on here, they're on our email list.
Unless they found us randomly on YouTube.
They have to sign up.
But wait, by the way, could you all please do me a favor? We need to say this at the end of every webinar, and my old timers should remind me of next time. Please go to YouTube. Sarah, do you have the link for Marriage Minded Mentor on YouTube? It's like YouTube/C/Marriage Minded Mentor or something. Find us on YouTube. Please click subscribe. Please help us. I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers, because it does something in YouTube land and it makes everybody super happy and it helps us. I don't know what it does yet, but somebody told me it was a good thing to do. So if you'd help me by sharing with all your friends and being like, hey, join, YouTube, Marriage Minded Mentor. Plus you'll get all the updates. Like when you subscribe, it's like, ding, she put up a new webinar. Ding, she put up a new video. Ding, she's got more information. And you just get dinged without having to do it. So it's YouTube. That's not it. Sarah, that link doesn't work.
I literally just tried it.
You did?
It works for me.
YouTube.com/Marriage Minded Mentor. Doesn't it have to have like a C in between it?
Can someone try it? Someone try it. Because it works on my end.
Well, we think it's youtube.com/Marriage Minded Mentor. Isn't that easy? But just go there and subscribe. How many subscribers do we have right now? Not 240 something.
280.
280? We have 280, and that is right. After you see this webinar, we'll just have 281 or 2 maybe. 300.
There's 33 people on here right now still. So 20 of y'all would just go and hit subscribe.
No, and a bunch of people watch replays. So anyway, subscribe, because why not? And people need to hit the alarm bell to get the notifications. So you can get the notifications or not, but just subscribe. That's what I care about. We're going to alert you by email anyway. And that's it. We hope you have a fantastic evening. We hope you have a beautiful, wonderful 2021. It should be what?
Do you want any reminders about upcoming events this week?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to take off the recording. Bye to the recording land.